A cocky, self-absorbed guy relies on older women for their money, but suddenly finds himself interested in a waitress with a hidden planner. This arrogant man, Nicky, is about to leave a fancy mansion, lost in thoughts about his own looks. He flashes back to a time he got physically involved with his mom's best friend. You're watching Cine Digest, and this is Movie Recapped. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome stories. Walking down the street, he remembers his first arrival in Los Angeles, dreaming of fame, wealth, and women. Luckily, most of his dreams have come true. That night, he hits a nightclub and meets Samantha, the last woman on his list, and tries to win her heart. At first, the beautiful lawyer rejects him, but over time she falls for his charming tricks. The wealthy woman takes him to her luxurious home, and in a private moment, the hypocritical man holds back, leaving her wanting more. The next morning, Samantha wakes up and tells Nicky she's going to work. He responds with a sleepy smile and roll, drawing her in even more. Instead of asking him to leave, she smiles and lets him buy breakfast with her card. While she's at work, Nicky enjoys the mansion, trying to gain her trust and extend his stay. When she returns, he treats her like a queen and serves dinner. When Samantha asks about his job, he admits he's not looking for work right now. Despite that, she's attracted to him, and they share a romantic moment at the dining table. This pattern continues over the next few days, with Nicky pampering Samantha while quietly securing a comfortable life for himself, without her knowing he's just after her money. One day, Samantha tells him about her trip to New York and invites him along, but he refuses, agreeing to stay home. After seeing her off at the airport, Nicky throws a house party, inviting a lot of people, including his close friend Harry, who has the same ways with women. Their conversation is cut short when Nicky notices his ex, Helen, drunk and wealthy, at the party. Afraid she'll reveal the mansion isn't his, he asks Harry to take her home. Suddenly, another woman, Christina, interrupts and asks for a tour of the house. Nicky entertains the attractive guest, and a quick romantic encounter happens between them. After the party, Harry takes Helen home and returns Samantha. Generously, Nicky gives his friend an extra room to stay in. The next day, Nicky gets a call from Samantha, worried because he didn't answer her calls last night. He replies that he didn't hear the phone due to the party noise. Later, Samantha says she'll be bringing guests when she returns. The next day, Nicky invites his friend Emily, who knows his sneaky tricks. He tries to have a physical relationship with her, but she insists on something serious, which makes him back off. Later, Emily suggests they spend private time in the bathtub. Then they go to the bedroom and she tries to convince him to commit, but he refuses. Afterwards, Nicky takes his friend to the parking lot and returns to spend time with Christina, but Samantha comes home early and catches them. An argument breaks out over the party Nicky threw. In the end, they agree to stay together, and Nicky continues his relationships with women. When Samantha leaves again, Nicky enjoys pancakes at a cafe, where he meets Hazel. Hazel immediately rejects him, but gives him the bill. Nicky writes his number and leaves without paying. Hazel follows him to the mansion, demanding he pay. He tries to seduce her to come inside, but she refuses. When he shows her the money, she takes it and leaves angrily. Nicky can't stop thinking about her and starts losing interest in Samantha. To attract Hazel, he goes back to the cafe and has Harry play his assistant while he pretends to be a rich guy. When he sees a fancy Mercedes outside, Hazel warns him about a parking violation. Nicky tries to seduce the parking officer by dancing, but it fails and he gets a ticket. Returning to the cafe, Hazel quietly gives him her number. At night, Nicky calls her, but she says she's busy and will call back later. Samantha sees this and gets jealous. The next day, Nicky visits Harry's apartment to store his stuff. Harry advises him to drop it, but he insists on pursuing Hazel. Nicky goes back to Samantha's house to relax and swim.
Finally, Hazel calls and invites him to a fancy dinner. During dinner, she gets an urgent call and leaves suddenly. Nikki follows her and confronts her about leaving, but she's indifferent and drives away. The next morning, Samantha confronts him for seeing someone else, and Nikki denies it. Later, she asks him to drive her to the hospital and bring her back the next day. After doing so, Nikki goes to the cafe and finds Hazel isn't working there. That night, he sees Hazel swimming in Samantha's pool. Nikki confronts her about leaving suddenly and learns she has a sick brother, offering his support. They share an intimate moment, but she tells him to take things slow. In the morning, Nikki takes her keys to move her Porsche for street cleaning, but realizes it's not hers, gets upset, returns to the room, throws the keys and clothes, and asks her to leave. Then he drives Samantha from the hospital, and she tells him she had surgery and needs to stay away from romance for a bit. Over the next few days, Samantha notices he's not answering her calls and decides to end the relationship. Before kicking him out, she warns him he'll lose his looks like anyone else and slaps him hard. As he leaves, his phone rings and Samantha throws it in the pool. Homeless and needing help, Nikki goes to Harry, but his friend doesn't show. He tries Emily, who scolds him for cheating and competing with women. Desperate, Nikki goes to a dance club. Harry and their friend Sean help him get in. Seeing their behavior with women, he gets upset, tries to intervene, but this leads to a fight and he's kicked out. He tries to find a new target to stay with, but gets rejected. The next day, Nikki goes to Harry's apartment, but his friend throws out his stuff. Broke, he stays in a cheap motel. He tries to call his mom, but she hangs up when he says he still has no stable job. Determined to live well again, Nikki targets a rich woman at a hotel, but suddenly meets Hazel, who confronts him for chasing another woman. He admits his real situation and reveals the mansion isn't his. He later discovers Hazel also plays the same game with wealthy men. She invites him to her apartment, gives him a place to stay, tells him about her addicted roommate who never leaves her room, and reveals she's split from the Porsche-owning boyfriend and has a new target. They go for a fancy dinner. The next day, Nikki helps Hazel attract a rich man, then asks for a cut of her earnings, which she finds ridiculous. At the apartment, Hazel tells him to sleep on the couch, but he insists on sleeping next to her, and they have a sexual encounter. Afterward, they get to know each other better. During dinner, another woman gets close, but he forgets her name, upsetting her. To avoid paying the bill, Hazel gives him a note to chew with his food. When he complains, Hazel calls the waiter and says they're leaving because of something in the food. The next day, they spend a beautiful day at the beach with an intimate moment at sunset. As their relationship deepens, Hazel leaves, and Nikki suspects she's still chasing rich men. One day, while Nikki is asleep, Hazel receives a DHL package, opens it, and 3 roses fall on the floor. She quickly cleans them up. Nikki wakes up and finds her sad on the balcony. She tells him she ended her engagement. Nikki is upset she didn't tell him. She reveals her ex-fiancé is rich, owner of the New York Rangers, but she left him for Nikki. Nikki asks if she's just pretending to love him. She insists it's real because she stayed with him despite his lack of work and problems. Nikki tries to convince her to come with him, but she refuses, saying she sees no future with him. Despite her harsh words, he offers her a ring and proposes, but she refuses, saying she's been married before. Nikki suggests divorce, but she refuses, saying she wants a comfortable life. Suddenly, Hazel's husband, Will, arrives, and she introduces Nikki as a delivery guy. After the older man tips him, he hugs and kisses his wife, breaking Nikki's heart. The heartbroken man leaves the building and heads back to Los Angeles. He starts rebuilding his life with delivery work. Once, while delivering to Samantha's house, he meets the guy who replaced him. He goes back to live with Harry again, and when he returns to his apartment, he gives his friend's pet frog some rats to eat. And that's the end of today's movie. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Cinedigest for more amazing stories with Movie Recapped.